we as Muslims, we believe in something called predestination. God plans everything. It's by the grace of God that you are the President of the Republic of Kenya, the 5th President. This reality must dawn on everybody. Those who have not accepted this, I think, are living in their own world. And you will be fighting God. And therefore, we want to ask you, we want to request you, as you have always done, and you know this group has always been abused because of different reasons. We shall never accept that particular scenario. Our government is this. This is the 5th President. This is the President the people of Kenya have chosen. This is the will of God. And therefore, any other imagination at this stage, you will be fighting your own maker. And you know you can't fight your own maker. So let's accept. In Parliament, I can assure you, and I speak here as the longest serving member of Parliament, policies that add value to our people, regardless of what somebody else thinks, will always be on our fingertips, and we will support it. And you know, we fear nobody, we only fear Allah. So we will support, and that is our desire. And for you, when you plan, and I'm sure you're already planning, because some of the things that I'm seeing in the policy dispensations, hoping that some of the mandarins who have been derailing this will not have their way in derailing this in terms of policy discrimination. I'm sure in the next few years, the entire region, the entire country will see development in different phases, and I hope and pray that we'll have peace, we'll have good health, and we'll have that unity of purpose that will hold our country together, because elections come and go, but Kenya as an entity will remain. And I want to conclude by saying this. God had a purpose. When, in the making of the nation state of the Republic of Kenya, when God brought together 43 different nations with different dialects, with different cultures, to constitute one entity called the Sovereign Republic of Kenya. And that is where today, proudly, under our president, under the flag, and our currency, we have one united country. And therefore, I want to appeal to you, let's support the government of the day. One of the things that has affected this group, Your Excellency, is the issue of livestock marketing. During the colonial time, we used to have unorganized livestock marketing routes. We used to have cattle migration routes. We used to have holding grounds, and KMC used to function. Your Excellency, the other day when we were in Baringo, I watched something. One of the colleagues said here, cattle rustling started after 1974. The question is, why was cattle rustling not there during the colonial time, and why is it rampant? Your Excellency, one of the things that has exacerbated and increased cattle rustling, which is actually the talk all over, is because of lack of livestock marketing. Your Excellency, the camel herder in my constituency has only one source of market, that is Ethiopia and Djibouti. And therefore, what has flourished right now are commercial cattle rustlers who benefit from that particular market. What they do is they steal from here, take them across the border, export them or sell them to the other parts. Your Excellency, one of the things that we will be pleading with you, and I know you will give us an opportunity to plan, is how to have a number of abattoirs in some of these counties, so that the cattle owner, the camel owner, the sheep owner can find, like now Wajir, Your Excellency, we have the second largest airport. Wajir can supply actually meat to the whole world. What it requires is a functioning abattoir. Your Excellency, the other bit which has affected, of course the issue of climate change is something that affects everybody. The other bit that has affected is the issue of perennial drought. Your Excellency, one of the things that you have been to a number of countries, a country like Spain is almost as, is a desert. A country like Saudi Arabia, Israel, Jordan, and many other countries. What they have done is, and I hope that policy that we have announced the other day will be implemented, is to harvest rainwaters actually from the torrential waters. If that is done, it can either be in the form of ponds or dams. Some of these things, the issue of food security will not be a problem. Your Excellency, we as a community, and I've used the word we are disorganized, because if every now and then we have problems in our backyard, and we invite for your attention, we invite you to come and solve, it is the high time that we as the leadership, we own and say and pronounce ourselves that we have challenges in our backyards, challenges that never used to be there during the colonial time, and say never again will this be used as an impediment by the policy planners, by the government, because every time when a minister comes, it's insecurity. This clan has clashed with this group has stolen from this. I think it's also we need to make that commitment that we need to get rid of this from our backyards.
Our people have lost more than 2.5 million livestock to the ongoing drought, according to modest estimates by the NDMA. We need to have a candid conversation regarding regional health to sustain the livestock numbers, its use and management of the regions in long-term plan. It cannot be business as usual. As pastoralists, we need to think outside the box. It can't only be left only to the governments or donors. At the same time, we want the people to think the highest emissions that are causing damages and losses to our people in the region and to take responsibility. We are pleased that the world has acknowledged the link between climate change and drought as our people continue to bear the biggest chunk while we contribute very little to global warming. Your Excellency, we appreciate the leadership at the just concluded COP27 and Kenya's push for adequate compensation for the climate change loss and damage. We hope the loss and damage fund that was agreed upon at the end of the conference will be actualized soon. We thank you for your initial response to the drought stress situation. We know your administration has come in late when the situation is already beyond the alarm stage. We thank you for establishing the National Steering Committee on Drought Response and appointing eminent persons to spearhead this work. We believe it will help the bridge the response gap. Your Excellency, the Vision 2030 strategy for development of northern Kenya and other arid lands, for instance, identifies priority and appropriate investments that will unlock the potential of the region. The ASAL policy, on the other hand, reinforces how to actualize the constitutional provisions of removing inequality and marginalization. It also recognizes the value of pastoralism and emphasizes the ASAL region's potential to contribute to national development. We equally appreciate that you put together a detailed program for the transformation of the frontier counties. We look forward as members of parliament to working with you and your administration to support the delivery of this plan. We would like to see that your administration gives the implementation of ASAL policy a priority push for full implementation. You have done it before while you are a deputy president. Now you are the head of state. I'm sure you will do it better. PPG now is the largest recognized parliamentary caucus in the National Assembly. Its membership is open to all elected and nominated members of parliament from 15 counties. This term, Your Excellency, the 13th Parliament PPG will focus on high-impact priority areas. Among them is issue of peace and security. And I'm sure this, working with the national government, this we want to ensure that it's realized. Your Excellency, there are issues about resilience and improving community livelihoods, reduce drought, damage and losses. Of course, issue of education and especially the nomadic education is equally very important. Your Excellency, for the last two parliamentary terms, that is the 11th and 12th Parliament, PPG had worked hard to have a legal framework of establishing the Livestock Market Authority. It is still unfinished business. In the pastoral areas, the livestock sector provides employment, food security, and over 90% of family incomes for the people in the drylands. Another area of importance to PPG this time is the security of the community land. Despite Parliament passing the Community Land Act in 2016, no single inch of the former trust land has been registered for the community. Communal land is the most important factor of livestock production in pastoral areas. And we request through your administration that this issue is fast-tracked. Your Excellency, this is not the time to outline our PPG full list, as has been mentioned by our outgoing patron. As we finish tomorrow, we will come up with a blueprint. We will have a 2 days retreat thereafter to work on it, and I'm sure that time we'll present through the respective line cabinet secretaries so that your administration can also focus in the next 5 years. As the members of the PPG caucus, we have committed to making individual financial contributions from our salaries to support PPG, and I'm sure this has to go down very well with everybody to support the PPG plans. And equally as important, we ask your administration, development partners and NGOs who have supported us before to support the plans. In that spirit, we request your line ministries to work with the PPG so that this matter is realized. As a start point, we would like to sit down with your new CSS, especially from key ministries of ASAL, Interior, Agriculture, Livestock, Environment, Land and Tourism, in the next 2-3 days when we plan properly in a retreat to develop a work plan and develop a development agenda for the pastoral areas.
Mambo ya insecurity imetusumbua sana. 21st century, hakuna namna bado sisi tunaendelea kupigana na ili hali serikali wako. Na sisi tunakuomba kama wafugaji, kama tutahakikisha ya kwamba maendeleo kutakuwa, mambo ya kupigana, cattle rustling, na mambo ya wafugaji kupigana kila wakati, tunakuomba kwa wakati huu sasa ukiwa kiongozi, haya mambo yaishe. Na sisi tunashirikiana na wewe kuhakikisha ya kwamba tumemaliza haya. Wafugaji ambaye wako na bunduki ambazo si halali, ningeomba ofisi ya serikali iregister illegal firearms. Na kama sivyo, wale ambaye wako na illegal firearms zote zichukuliwe. Hiyo ndo mambo ambayo tunakuomba kama kiongozi wetu utusaidie kuyatimiza. We have a lot of unexploited resources katika pastoral areas. Na hizo unexploited resources tunakuomba ili tuweze kujisaidia sisi kama wafugaji. Kuna miadini, kuna actually gas hata pale Turkana, I think governor ako hapa. Kuna mwingine hata kama Isiolo, kuna minerals ambazo mpaka saa hizi wafugaji wanajaribu kufuatilia. Tunakuomba ili uangalie haya maneno. Ya tatu, mambo ya maji. All pastoral areas leo ni mvua imenyesha, lakini tuko na shida ya maji. Juzi nilisikia ulitangaza ya kwamba utatutengezea dams 100. Kwa maoni yangu, dams wakati ya ukame haisaidii kwa sababu inakauka. Tungekuomba kama utashirikiana na county government na national government utuchimbie boreholes kwa sababu hizo haziwezi kukauka. Mambo ya madawa ya kulevya kwanza kutoka Ethiopia kupitia Isiolo mpaka hapa Nairobi. Hiyo ni shida kubwa sana ambaye imeathiri watu wetu, imeathiri watoto wetu. Sisi kama wafugaji tuko wengi sana. Tunaweza actually kusupport serikali yako na tunaweza kufanya kazi pamoja. Lakini 21st century bado sisi tunalia ya kwamba we are minority, we are marginalized. Hii nyimbo imezidi sana. Tunakuomba utushikie mkono ya kwamba haya maneno ya minority na marginalized iishe, because county governments wanapata pesa nyingi sana. Na ukiongezea ile ya national government, mambo ya ufugaji tutakuwa na solution.
Historical marginalization has contributed to this group of the nation to lag behind for many years. The successive regimes in this country has not contributed to any meaningful or much or good policies, if at all, to support the pastoralist communities. But during the 2010 Constitution, and Your Excellency, you participated in that. I remember very well, we were in 10th Parliament together with you. The robust contribution or documentation in the Constitution provided avenues through which pastoral communities can speed up development and catch up with the rest of the country. An example is where we sought in the Constitution the Equalization Fund. At that time, we envisaged, after 20 years, with proper implementation of that Equalization Fund, then the Equalization Fund will be scrapped because the counties in this marginal part of the country, marginal areas, will have caught up with the rest of the counties. Unfortunately, to date, Your Excellency, that has not been made operational. I am confident under your leadership, Equalization Fund will be made operational and that development in this part of the country will be able to be fast-tracked. I want to also thank you when we brought to your attention the serious challenges due to drought in these marginal counties. You took the matter head-on and spearheaded campaign and organized yourself and your team to support our counties to face that big challenge. Your Excellency, we got a lot of support, we got a lot of food from your government. Unfortunately, the situation is still very serious and that support is still needed until we get meaningful rainfall whereby our people will be back on track to carry on with their normal duties. I also want to acknowledge the fact that you pronounced that you will spearhead campaigns to do large dams and in these marginalized areas also. We shall support you, we will be with you, we will pray for you so that you realize those dreams. So we need to organize ourselves, we need to plan ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, we need to be united, we need to speak in one voice so that we can be able to articulate our issues.
In the 12th Parliament, the Pastoralist Parliamentary Group Women Caucus launched its strategic plan. During that period, we held several meetings on issues that affect drylands, communities, and contribute to the functioning of the PPG. The PPG members' focus was on policy and legislation around peace and security, education, empowerment of the pastoralist women and youth, pastoralism and livestock productivity, equalization fund and affirmative action funds, protecting devolution and strengthening the decentralized governance system, supporting the implementation of the Community Land Act 2016, national drought management and emergency response, and basic public service, public appointment, placements, and physical infrastructure. We were all also privileged to have the first pastoralist women elected to Senate from Isiolo County and elected again for the second time, Senator Fatuma Dulo. In the 12th Parliament, PPG members sponsored 30 important bills focused on improving the lives of pastoralists. The bills seek to improve the institution framework, policy and legislation on peace building, conflict management and cohesion, livestock and affirmative action. Out of 3,893 papers laid in the House, 761 motions were sponsored by members of the PPG. In the 13th Parliament, our focus will be on climate change, resilience, human security, peace building, and promoting community lands rights. As you all know, our counties have been ravaged by the continued drought and affected by insecurity, and our people need to have their lands registered. It is my wish that we will all join hands in supporting our people through legislation and strengthening of the systems in ensuring that they get their wishes. Finally, Your Excellency, as I conclude, I'm calling on all leaders to work together to achieve the priority areas that we have mapped out. Our people are looking to us to represent and legislate bills that will improve their lives. In the words of Rosuke Sotaro, individually, we are one drop. Together, we are an ocean. And in the words of Enoch, teamwork is the secret that makes common people achieve uncommon results.
We have passed several policy and institutional frameworks are in place. And as members of Parliament, we are going to work closely together in areas where we may need the intervention of Parliament to actualize the direction that we need to take. Despite the global action that is being taken around climate change, from our own space as a country, we have the initiative to grow 15 billion trees, and this falls under my ministry, and this aims to increase the tree cover from where we stand now at 12.13% to 30%. And this group here holds the biggest opportunity because this is where we find a lot of space. We have the support of Kenya Forestry Research Institute, where we are putting in a lot of effort at research. We will do species matching to make sure that as we go around the country doing tree growing, we shall bring to your doorsteps the species that we know will thrive in the ASAL, arid and semi-arid lands, but we need your support. Because when we say that we are lacking in adaptation financing from developed countries, we have what it takes in our hands. And this is the nature-based solutions. And one of them is what the direction through which His Excellency the President is taking us to make sure that we create carbon sinks within our counties, within our constituencies, to make sure that we are doing our bit with what we are able to do. This initiative will take a whole government and whole society approach, and we are targeting to rehabilitate 10.6 million hectares, most of which are found within the arid and semi-arid lands. In terms of climate financing, with what we are able to work on, the government and partners through the financing locally led climate action, the FLOCA, managed by the National Treasury, ensures that climate finance reaches the lowest levels of administration, and it also gives opportunities for communities to decide on their priorities for climate action.
We must have a conversation, a very candid conversation. Why is our area the most insecure part of Kenya? That conversation, we have a role to play. Why is Lefe insecure? Why is North Hall insecure? Why is Turkana South insecure? Why is our sister Lesuda elected twice crying every day on TV? As we wait for government, we are leaders, we must be part and parcel of the conversation to bring peace, stability, and security to that. Your Excellency, I want to thank you. When even donors came out to build the road from Darbatula all the way to Mbadogash, to Habaswein, to Samatar, to Mandera, and you did a lot of consultation meetings. Part of the frustration the state was doing to you were even ministers and PSS were told, don't go to the office of the deputy president. They were sending clerks. Reach a stage where they even stopped sending clerks. We are very mature under your leadership, Your Excellency, and with Murkomen as a minister for roads. At least the road from Garbatula all the way to Mandera will be complete. Your Excellency, as these leaders sit here, 3/4 of, in fact 70% of the schools in these areas are closed. They have no teachers. In fact, like in Northeastern, I think the students that were only in Garissa, Wajir, Mandera, Isiolo, and Marsabit town. You go to the rural constituencies, schools have been closed 5 years ago. That conversation, we must decide. We must sit down. And I really want, after the end of this 2-day session, you bring a blueprint document, you know, of the 3-5 key issues that you want the president to address.
The regeneration of the livestock economy is important, especially in uplifting the poor and vulnerable pastoralist majority. The production of good quality skin, including its recovery from animals that die from causes such as drought and accidents, goes some way to maximize livestock value. Very, very specifically, when we went round the country in our economic forums, the one thing that came out from all the pastoralist counties is the livestock economy. I also want to give you my commitment that because we have the 3rd largest herd of livestock in Africa, we should leverage the biggest benefit from the livestock economy, both in terms of meat and livestock products. You have my commitment in investments in the entire livestock value chain, from the meat and livestock products, and that is part of what we envisage to do in our industrial city in Naivasha.
Ndugu yangu, kwani hizi app za loans natakaje ndio anipe loan?
Sasa nikuulize ndugu yangu, unataka kufanya nini yodo?
Nataka expand business, nitaka gari nyingine.
Oh, sasa bro, acha nikueleze. Kuna app inaitwa VIP. Unaona sasa, ukiwa na hii app, ni app yenye inakusaidia kumanage busy yako. Sawa kama mse wa taxi, ukimanage transactions zako through VIP for the next 3 months, unaweza get access to loan. Na pia kulingana na design yenye unakopa na unalipa hiyo loan, wanaweza kupatia pia access to a better handsome amount ya loan. Unanipata ndugu yangu?
Nakupata. Hiyo kwanza iko verified.
Kabisa. Sasa download VIP leo na expand busy yako in the next 3 months, au sio?
Kabisa bana, hata niweke sahi.